Moments ago, the House passed a bipartisan resolution demanding the immediate resignations of the MIT president, Sally Kornbluth, and Harvard president, Claudine Gay. Now, leaving aside the fact that maybe congressional involvement in the hiring and firing of university heads would set a wild precedent, these institutions, they don't care about accountability. We know that. Their credibility is now in the toilet, especially Harvard's. Not only is the board standing behind Claudine Gay, the university went to extreme lengths to cover up any investigation. The New York Post reports that back in October, they asked Harvard about more than 24 instances of perceived plagiarism from Claudine Gay. 2 days later, the Post says lawyers tried to silence them. So Harvard will go to bat for Ms. Gay, but not for the students who pay nearly $55,000 a year to go there, like the 27 who were forced to withdraw from the school due to academic dishonesty in the 2021 school year. So does the honor code only apply to them and not to certain school leaders of a preferred background? Joining me now is Dr. Peter Wood. He's a former Boston University associate provost who's investigated numerous plagiarism accusations, and he's currently president of the National Association of Scholars. Now, Dr. Wood, I've read all of the passages in question, and to me this seems clear-cut that she lifted the exact language, or maybe slightly tweaked languages, words here or there, from other authors and scholars without the proper attribution, or am I missing something?
You're not missing anything at all. In most cases, it wasn't without the proper attribution, it was without any attribution. She pretended that those words and sentences were her own and that those thoughts were her own. This was a case of attempting to take credit for somebody else's work. Now, plagiarism is not something that the American public has, I think, a really good intuitive grasp of. There's a tendency to think that if the person who got plagiarized is okay with it, then there's no problem. But the problem is that plagiarism is an offense against the whole community of scholars, which depend on the trust and honesty of scholars to put their own ideas down on paper. It doesn't matter if the other person comes along afterwards and says, hey, you're my buddy, that's okay.
Or they don't want to offend Harvard. I mean, exactly. Harvard has an enormous amount of power. So these scholars who were plagiarized from, they don't want to get on Harvard's grill because they probably want to, have their own deal with Harvard at some point. Now, one example of her writing that was highlighted by the campus newspaper shows that nearly every word in one paragraph written by her in '97 was apparently lifted from a paper written the year before. Again, this is clear cut. This is not a question. So I'm going to say, why does she get to skate? This may seem like an obvious question, Dr. Wood, but I'm going to ask you, why does Claudine Gay get to skate on obvious plagiarism?
She gets to skate because her board is too embarrassed to admit they made a terrible mistake in appointing her. She gets to skate because there is behind this a ferocious political movement. She is the wokest college president in the country and is trying to lead a total transformation of Harvard to allow her academic dishonesty to get in the way of trying to turn Harvard into the wedge that will undo white supremacy or the systemic racism that she sees around every corner would upset the political commitments of powerful people at Harvard.
Well, it exposes the truth about diversity, equity, inclusion, right, that sadly it lowers standards and it actually hurts everybody. It doesn't help people. It actually hurts people. And she was the first black president of Harvard, black female president of Harvard. And to, a few months into the deal, say, whoops, we made a mistake. I mean, if she were a white male, kind of middle of the road, more milquetoast guy, right? Would he have lasted, Dr. Wood?
Well, someone with her record would never have been appointed in the first place, except for the fact that she's black and she is ultra woke. But anybody else would be long gone, as the president of University of Pennsylvania fell because of not plagiarism, but because of what she said before the House. But Gay is protected right now, but I think it's only for right now. The cases of plagiarism that Harvard is trying to cover up or pretend are not that big a deal are the tip of the iceberg. Now that Harvard has taken this stand, the people I work with are examining her other work, which I fully expect is going to be revealed as full of even more plagiarism. One thing I know as someone who's dealt with plagiarism cases for many years is that most plagiarists are serial offenders. They get into the habit, they get away with it, so they keep on doing it. And I think we are about to see that Claudine Gay's tissue paper thin excuse for this, that it's just an error of punctuation or something like that, is about to fall apart. And
well, Nicole Hannah-Jones from the 1619 Project says it's all racist. All this criticism that people like you are raising is based in racism. And you say very quickly?
The accusation of racism is the last refuge of scoundrels, as a famous man once wrote. We are in a world here where people commit egregious wrongs and try to get away with it by saying, don't blame me, this is a matter of only the racists are accusing me.
Well, Peter, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. This is serious business, and we want Harvard and all these institutions to actually be credible. It's better if we have credible institutions, elite institutions. This is embarrassment for everyone.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.